Hello, hello. This is Ronnie Break.
And I am Cisco's one good one hit wonder by himself. You guessed it right. Thong, 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 thong.
And this is.
And this is Smoking Revelations.
Okay, I thought so. Two friends
One topic.
and a big fat bowl.
Now,
Now
let's see where the smoke takes us.
Take us.
Smoke in my mouth. Pothead status. Sorry.
Hello. Hi, hi, Cisco. How's it going?
Hair still blonde.
I love that. It looks good.
Thank you.
Almost white. It's so blonde. Not yellow at all. No. Sometimes I get a little mixed up on the intro, and it fucks with me. Isn't that crazy?
And go where, Belly?
I mean, I guess not in a good or a bad way. I'm just like,
like,
oh,
ooh,
why
or is it
can't
like,
I?
oh.
I'm not like mad about it. I just think about it. So, we've had a couple bowls already. So we're being a little chaotic right now. But we're going to get it together in a second here because we want to talk about
Vikings. I'm just messing
Vikings.
with vices.
You know, vices.
Vices.
Yeah. So, how do you want to begin telling me a little bit about what comes to mind for you
So,
when you think of vices?
I am very different in the fact that I don't have them like the average human does. I'm far above emotions and feelings
Okay.
and, dabbling in joy or pleasure.
So you're supernatural
Yes.
and you're not a human.
No.
You're
No.
better than that.
Yeah.
Got
yeah.
it.
Yeah, but if I was, let me imagine myself as a human. Junk food, that's a vice. Not a good vice, but it's a vice. Buying things I don't need, especially if I see it's a sale price and I'm over here trying to find a reason to buy it, knowing darn well I'm never gonna redo my kitchen and make it yellow. So damn it, Brie, you do not need the yellow placement mats. I don't care if they are $1.17.
If you were talking about Halloween decorations, you would be me. That is exactly what I do.
But at least when you buy them, you make a home for them. Mine just built up into a pile, and then just like with the rest of my trauma, if I just keep looking forward, I can't see it. So out of sight, out of mind. You know what I mean?
I think so.
You heard?
Can trauma be a vice?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I mean, if you... Yes. Because it's something you're familiar with. It is something that you know how to control, the waves, the ups, the downs. You know when to just let it ride and when to push it forward. And with vices, let's say like trauma, say you're in an abusive relationship and that's all you know. You live for those highs, and when those lows are lows, they're low. You know what I mean? So, not saying that, it's the victim's fault by any means. I just mean in any sort of toxic relationship. For me, it's probably, my mom. It was just something I knew. So anything different was terrifying. It was something I couldn't do and I couldn't achieve. And how do I know I couldn't do those? My mom told me, so it must be right. So yeah, I think you can be addicted to trauma because I say it all the time with a vice as far as like eating. We eat our feelings, not in the sense of like, I guess for me it's a sense of feeling stable because we grew up with not a lot of food. We grew up where fast food was a luxury. So when I started having my own money, and those moments where life were sucky, it was okay, but guess what? We can afford candy. We can afford our Chinese food. We can afford this. Like, you don't have to wait till mom or dad has a good payday. We can afford it. And here we are, 40 something pounds later. And it won't leave. But that in itself is a vice. And I've also been talking about, I guess I've talked about this in the past, I mean, with my sister, that if I were to suddenly stop using food as a way of comfort, just suddenly, and I went out and I immediately started eating healthy, there is a response in my body where it is full panic mode. Who am I if I am not this person? If I am not this character? If I'm not this creation that I or someone else has made up? If you change, who am I? So in the end, that becomes your vice. You don't know much about life. You don't have control of much, but you know that this is who you are as a person, even if that involves all of the toxic or traumatic things in your life.
I get that. I feel like a vice isn't always an addiction.
Ooh.
Sometimes it's a crutch. And I feel like that's why there are the different words.
Yeah.
So when I think vice, I think crutch. Mm-hmm. Addiction, I think, not that addiction makes it okay for someone to be shitty or for you to keep them in your life, but addiction is like a chemical thing, like an uncontrollable thing to me. Mm-hmm. And a vice is like chocolate is a vice of mine.
But it's also an addiction.
But is it an addiction?
Yes. Yes. I say that as not only having seen you hide 6 full grown Hershey bars from me, because you didn't want to share, as someone else who is addicted to chocolate and sweets. Hello, welcome to the club of addicts. There you go. We pay in chocolate coins. We don't need the real ones to put on the wall. Give me candy. So yeah. And plus sugar sets off this release in your head it's the same one that sets off when you're doing drugs. Sugar is literally an addictive thing to have to any person, any body. Right. So
but is every vice an addiction?
Yes.
So then why are the words different? Do you see what I'm saying? Like
I feel like when we think of addiction, we think of, or society, you selling your grandmother's ring, you selling whatever to get what you need, which I think that's when it turns into an addiction. When you're using it for comfort and you still have some sort of control of your life to the point that you haven't sold everything for it, then it's a vice. Oh man, my vice, long-legged women, blah, 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 blah. Even though that might not be the greatest until you have 45 baby mamas, Nick Cannon.
Dang.
Then it's
coming for blood today.
I don't even know why. I just said it because I've been watching Wild 'N Out, and I love Wild 'N Out. Anyway, but that's the difference. So me, I loving sweets. It brings me joy. Blah 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 blah. I've gone and tried to not have sugar or candy, and I have never been. I've only made it maybe once or twice where I can go the entire day without doing it. I was literally sitting on my couch, just like, what am I supposed to do? Or does it count as candy if it's healthy candy? Like, what can I get with the lowest, sugar in it? It's an addiction because your body and mind is trying a way to live without it in that moment. It's fighting for it, and then it starts to realize, okay, well, I can't have it, so what am I supposed to do? And you're trying to get to the other side. A vice when it's, I owe him. I owe Kyle $5,000, but it's all right. Then it's fuck. Kyle is here with his friends and guns, and they said if I don't give him the house, they take it. You know what I mean? It's when it's it's no longer like a crutch, I guess. something you are leaning on or using because you just kind of like it. It's when it becomes a hindrance, a weight, something that's tying you down, or something that's just destroying you completely. I think that's the difference between a vice and an addiction. And, maybe for me, food is both. And I say that because I have not gotten to the place yet where it is a addiction in the sense of it destroying me completely and never being able to go back. Right. Like, I'm overweight. I'm not anywhere near 600-pound life, but that doesn't mean that if I didn't, not that it's like not dogging them or anything like that. Like, most of them have really big issues, and that's how they cope, and so that coping becomes an addiction. That trauma becomes this addiction, this reason why. Because I know for me, television, books, and snacks, those are the things that I use to get through life,
Oh, absolutely.
So, I mean,
1,000-Pound Sisters.
Oh, I love them.
We've
that was my
been
best
watching
friend.
and watching.
I love it. I go to sleep to it.
Yeah.
But see, I'm at the point where I wouldn't say it has destroyed my life completely, but I will say if I continue to ignore it, it could. It'd be foolish of me to see a boulder rolling down the hill and then being surprised when it rolls over me and kills me. If you know what I'm saying? Like, that's ridiculous. Yeah. And so that's where I'm at. I'm at a crossroads between it becoming something that I can work through and something that's becoming detrimental. And I think I'm very much teetering on that line.
Well, that just made me think about speeding.
Ooh. The adrenaline?
And it's not even, I'm sure I am getting adrenaline. Mm-hmm. It is a full body, like, fight or flight being stuck around other cars. Like, I hate it. I can't.
You feel trapped.
I feel trapped. I feel like I could have a panic attack. And it's so terrible to have to drive in this city, state, whatever. And it just, like, it will mess with me so bad that it will, like, ruin hours of a day for me. And then I'm like, I mean, I guess I don't think that's a vice, but to a degree, I'm like, well, why did I think of it while thinking of this? Like, I'm just, like, I was trying to think about vices of mine, and speeding popped in my head.
But I think a vice also helps you escape, so you're trying to escape what is surrounding you and suffocating you. So in turn, that could be a vice, because this is what you have to do to be able to get through traffic.
And I feel like it must be some sort of, like, resurfaced trauma or something, because I've never had to drive on the highway so much, and it just will mess with me. But then that is a thing at a previous job I had where I would feel so trapped. And so, whatever, that, my God, excuse me, that I had been being prescribed pain pills, but then I just kept getting them however I would get them, and would take them all throughout work to try to get through work. So, while it was an addiction, when I stopped working there, I stopped taking pain pills. I mean, I've had them a couple times since, like when I had my oral surgery and stuff like that. And not that I don't think about stuff like that, but I'm honest about that to the people around me, so that way I can be accountable when and or if I have the pain pills. Excuse me. so that I don't go crazy with them. Because even if I don't mean to, the minute I have one, I'm sure I'm justifying every other one after that. You know what I mean? Like, I could probably take Tylenol.
Right. And that's the thing too, like as someone who is, I'll say I have an addictive personality. There's a reason why I don't drink a lot, and if I do, it's usually with other people. I don't really like drinking by myself. If I partake in the weed, as I am now, it's usually with someone else, or if it's me by myself, I probably will have maybe one or two hits, and then that's my limit. Uh, but it's because I already know that I have an addictive personality. We're not gonna start coffee. Why? So when I don't have it, I act even more like an asshole. No, the world doesn't need that. But if only I could have such determination when it comes to junk food. Because I have a weird relationship with food. I hate food.
Same.
But I love sweets, you know?
Because they're easy to eat.
Easy to eat.
Like,
it's already made. It's not complex. And it sets off that joy, that bliss spell in your head. And so I'm very...
It tastes waxy too, though.
It don't be tasting great, but you be like, my body be like, ooh, I got the hit. Especially if you go off and you're eating healthy for a while and then you come back, you be like, why did I even like this? Yeah. You know? But when you're in the midst of it, it's something completely different. But since that is my vice, I only allow myself so much for a vice. And I think I let the vices be the ones that feel the most detrimental if I were to stop them right then and there.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that I keep versus, like, not drinking, that's fine. You know?
Yeah, I'm not a drinker. That's not
I know we're smoking, and I enjoy it now, but if somebody told me I could never smoke again, I'd be okay.
I would get a little weird about it, but I used to smoke cigarettes, and I am a little bit older than 29.
Slightly.
So I smoked for over 20 years of my life. And I am only 21. So how did that even happen?
That math ain't math.
Isn't that crazy? So anyway, in 2001 when I was born, I started smoking.
What do you mean? What?
But 5 years ago, I quit.
What?
Yeah.
Even high and a bad math student, I know that math is not mathing.
Okay, so I'm a little older than 21. But the moral of the story is I quit smoking cigarettes, and it was something that I genuinely had tried to quit several times. And sometimes would only be able to go hours before I was like, I need the cigarettes. Like, I genuinely thought I would never be able to give them up. And then, one day, I was just like, I don't want to smoke anymore.
And that's what it is. You have
And I genuinely, like, it had been tasting gross for a while, and I started talking about it, and I was like, I'm just still addicted, but, like, it's not tasting very good anymore, and I'm coughing a lot and feeling like shit, and so then I was in the middle of a cigarette, and I looked at Dean, and I was like, I don't want to smoke anymore. And I put out the cigarette, and I threw away, the pack, and I have not smoked a cigarette since. But I also genuinely have not wanted one. Like, I do think about them sometimes because things will happen, but in the beginning, yes, I thought about them a lot, but I still didn't want them. And I just have not wanted them this whole time. So sometimes feels kind of weird because, of course, I still smoke weed. But that's also partly why I feel like it feels scary for me to give up weed, is because then I'm smoking absolutely nothing. And I like a lighter and a thing. You know what I mean? Like, I am still doing the same thing. So, yeah, I gave a vice up, but I smoke weed every day. You know what I mean?
Let me ask you this question. Do you think a vice can ever truly go away?
I genuinely don't know that because I feel like I've been addicted to so many things in my life that I just keep switching. Like, sometimes it's buying shit on Temu. Sometimes it's jack-o'-lanterns. Sometimes it's t-shirts. Sometimes it's candles. It's like, sometimes it's tits. Titties? What? Boobies? Bras.
Braziers.
Sometimes it's braziers. I don't buy those. You do.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
You buy braziers. But that's like, so is it, does it go away, or do you conquer a version of it, or does it transfer to something else?
I believe that vices never go away. I think at some point you are who you are, but instead of it being a vice, you turn it into something that could be a skill or self-care. So instead of not having a vice or a addiction, it turns into what is the healthy version of that. And even that can still be intense, but I don't think it ever truly goes away, because even if your vice is over here helping you feel good and then one day you decide to stop, now you're fighting with yourself to not give into that. So it's still a battle, but it I think for everybody who breaks or changes or transforms their vice, they have to want it, because just as hard as they fought to, even though you don't really think of it as fighting hard for it, when you're addicted to something, you will find a way. You have a determination like no other. I have what? I will count every dime, quarter, and penny if I need to go get that candy. Yep. Like I will do that. So you did work hard. You just worked hard in a different
and
area.
Sex can be a vice.
Oh, sex is an addiction.
Because I've plenty of times.
Just or to forget, or for connection.
Yeah, like.
Oh yeah, I'm not there. Like yes, this is happening, but am I really here? No. And then you want to talk. Now you're really throwing off my concentration. Like.
And it's also like a way I think that you secretly shame yourself sometimes, or like try to. And I think that like not just with sex as a vice, with several vices. Like sometimes I will binge eat the sweet stuff.
Yeah.
Because I like know I should stop, and I'm like,
yes,
stop! What are you doing? And I'm like, I'm going to have another pudding.
Yeah, and for me, I will honestly say, for me, it is. I have like I said, a love-hate relationship with food and sweets and stuff. So I hate like food and whatnot, but also at times when I am failing, and maybe the emotion is bigger than what pizza or whatever can give me, I will punish myself by forcing myself to eat even more of what at this point is not causing me joy. It is making me sick. But it's like, oh, so you see, here you are. You're already in this situation, and then you go and buy this. You can't really afford that. Well, you know what? Then you're going to eat every single drop.
So don't you think, as a writer, vices help you write poetry?
Oh, yeah.
I feel like you will completely understand the connection. Because you can write from every angle to yourself, at yourself, because of yourself. There's a way of poetically writing that almost helps kind of like flesh out a vice to me. Like, even though writing any kind of poetry or reading any kind of poetry helps me, it's like little shovels digging out more of me And I'm just like, oh, okay. There's just something about poetry, and so much poetry that I like and have read is about vices. But I also feel like so much of the media that we see is also about that. But like marketing plays into vices to get you to buy and want the thing. So to a degree, it's almost like conspiracy theory. Everything is trying to lean into your vice to get you to want it or buy it or be a part of it.
The world is full of temptation. And the moment you're trying to give up something, or the moment you're doing your best to not vibe or travel towards that negative energy or situation, whatever it is the moment that their or the situation's power or charm just it magnifies. It truly does
Yeah.
magnify. So it's in the moments where I'm over here talking about getting healthy, and I went back to the gym by myself this year. I started working out all the time, even without my dad. And then guess what? I stopped going to the gym because what? Trauma with my father. Drama with him and that woman. But it started this whole family. It brought up so much. It took me back so many years to when it just felt like it was just too much to be in the midst of so much, including with family, that I stopped. Instead of going and losing 15, I gained the 15. Because how am I self-soothing? Well, my such and such, did this or whatever. So, you know what? Pizza. And we're getting not just extra mozzarella, extra feta too.
Yes.
That's what I'm doing.
I do not like feta. It tastes like feet. I just want to put in my own 2 cents for 1 second because, like, I don't want anyone to think that I endorse feta in any way. Although it is in some shit that I eat that I probably
Feta.
don't notice. Cheese. I know what feta is.
Get your feta life.
You know what?
Get your feta life.
Feta
It's
life.
so good. It is so good.
I will eat Provel
Ew.
all day.
Talk about something that's next to American cheese plastic.
But
that right there, I don't care. Like, yeah, no, that right there will have your guts bubbling.
You know what? That's my favorite way to have my guts.
I bet you, because it's a vice, even though you know it's bad for you, even though you know it makes you sick. Like, I'm not supposed to have dairy, but I say, you know what? I've got 2 days off. You heard me on the pizza. I want all the cheeses I can get, and I want some ice cream. We might make some nachos as well. Who doesn't love Mexican food? Like, that's me.
Right.
So.
But pizza is all I eat when I live by myself. Because it's the easiest thing.
I survive off of pizza and cereal.
Right.
Yeah.
Because that's...
But I BT dubs, I have a gluten allergy, so I can't even have the other stuff. No, it's me eating bougie pizza, expensive pizza. But I'd be like, you know what? I work hard today. Trauma came at me sideways. Right. I didn't go to prison. Give me my pizza.
Well, not to like bring it down or be a weirdo, but serial killers?
What?
Is killing a vice?
What?
Well, I'm thinking about serial killers because I watch a lot of documentaries and shit about serial killers.
No, I don't. Everything in this world could be a vice, depending on your intentions and how you're using it.
So killing can't be a vice?
Yes, there's a high they probably are getting from it.
Right?
I guess. I don't like serial killers.
Okay, that's fine, but don't yell at me.
Oh my god! This
you know what?
Man has been saying I've been yelling at him all day. Whenever I don't agree.
I've been cursed up
no,
the wall. I've been cursed across the wall. and I've been cursed down the wall and back the fuck up.
First of all, if you think that Dean would allow that, you are crazy. And what about you? You would not allow it.
Listen, I'm ignorant. At the end of the day, if I'm going to do anything, I'm going to pull a little switch up and be a silly goose.
He didn't even say ignorant. He said ignorant.
Oh, yeah. Because that's... Sharon didn't raise no fool.
Who?
But she did raise one ignorant ass child. And here I am today. And I feel like my shield of like humor / like shady humor or sarcastic or whatever the hell is a coping mechanism. Isn't that a vice?
Yeah. The funniest people in the world have the most trauma.
That's true. There's a whole lot of...
It could be because you want to relate, or it could be because you know what it's like to stand in the darkness and you don't want anybody else to do that. But yeah. I mean, literally anything. Me licking pencils could be a vice. Because eventually, guess what's going to happen? I'm going to get cut on the tongue.
For the record...
And that becomes an addiction.
How do you know that? Interesting.
Everything wears down eventually with that with the pressing motion.
Well, I used to lick Play-Doh, so you don't have to be ashamed of pencil licking, because Play-Doh is salty when you lick it, and I don't know how a pencil tastes when you lick it, but you must have licked it.
You've never been in class and you put the pencil in your mouth between your teeth.
Aha! You did lick a pencil. I knew it.
It tasted like nothing.
Okay.
Because it was just silky smooth or whatever.
Oh, see how much you love it? You're like, it was so silky smooth, I just couldn't stop licking it. You are a pencil licker.
I'm not a pencil licker, but I have put a piece of lead in my ear.
And in your mouth. Like, dude, you are obsessed with lead and pencils.
I have never.
Okay.
No, I was cleaning my ear with the pencil and it broke off. I should have said that.
Is unhinged because you are obsessed with
pencils.
I was 7. You eat them, you put them in your ear, you put them in your nose.
What are we talking about?
A pencil.
I've never heard of that.
Exactly. See? Now, how'd you get amnesia? You poked your brain too hard with the pencil.
No, you don't dig up your nose with that. Plus, mine isn't shaped for that type of fun
But
activity.
it is so silky smooth.
What is?
A pencil.
I leave on my nose. I'm like, no, God gave us all nose hairs. Some are just like...
Oh, yeah, no, I don't think your nose is silky smooth.
It is, though.
Okay, well, you need to pick a lane. Figure it out.
All of them. All of them.
Well, you know what? I'm still going to be annoyed because I need to get by. Okay? Whatever lane you're in, I need to get by. Please move to the right.
You said left. Stage right or stage left? I'm a theater person. We both are, so you have to be more specific.
So what is a movie that helped you or informed you or helped you deal with a vice, or that you think spotlights a vice? And
superhero movies.
I thought superhero movies a couple times already.
Yeah, I'm obsessed with them, but they help me with advice because whenever I leave there, I say, we eating healthy, we're going to the gym. That could have been my role. See, they added black people in the background. What are you doing, girl? Like, that's how I am. Versus, like, let's say I saw a drama or something, or even a romantic comedy, because at one point I felt so disassociated from the world, so I just felt lonely. So those would send me to being like, whew, this is a great comedy. And then at the end, be like, if we ain't got nobody. All right, make it a full day. Stop by Target for no reason. End up with $45 worth of stuff and some cookies and then pizza.
Yeah.
That's how it will go.
Yeah. Pizza's easy. That's all there is.
It's cheese and bread. That's all I need in my life.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It's easy.
Since gluten betrayed me.
I don't think tacos are easy, but I like those a lot too.
Tacos are easy. They're just nachos, but they're not nachos. I'm just messing with you. Stop it.
I don't want to make tacos, but I want to eat 55. But I don't want to have to
prep.
brown the meat and heat up the taco shells, and I want them ready. I want them to have cheese and tomato.
He just wanted to appear in your
Actually,
house.
I don't really want tomato that much. Maybe like 2 tomatoes per taco. 2 slices of 2 little, you know what I mean? I don't like much tomato. And sour cream. Did I say cheese? I bet I said cheese. But what is that? I mean, what does that have to do with anything?
I don't know. You started talking about tacos and I didn't know if it was a metaphor.
No, I just like tacos. Not all the time.
Did you know that nachos and tacos are pretty much the same? I don't have to be cute about how I eat it because it's already shaped for me to look ugly. The other one, hold it together. No, you're dripping off the meat. No.
I
get another fucking tortilla. Scoop that bitch up.
I prefer taco.
Ugh. Ever since
I want to hold it.
No, I want to see everything. And then when I get done, if there's anything left, because I don't like tortilla without cheese, so then I'll be like, well, then I have to have a little bit more. We can't leave those homies over there to just die by themselves. And then here we are. 40 pounds heavier than we ever should have been.
I just am only wanting tacos now. And I forgot what movie I was going to think of.
Vice.
A Vice movie. I mean, there's so many of them when I think about it.
Isn't horror? Or wouldn't it always be horror for you?
Not only horror. I mean, I don't only watch horror. I watch comedies and I love documentaries. I watch so many documentaries. I love documentaries. I also like some ghost hunting-ish type shows, but not like Ghost Hunters. I like Ghost Brother.
Ghost Facers.
For
the Supernatural fans.
I love comedy. I don't watch romance. And I don't really like anything where the people are on a spaceship.
How dare you talk about sci-fi?
I'm not a sci-fi.
There's always a ship.
I know.
Always a ship.
I can't. I don't want to hear about the ship.
You didn't mean it, love.
I need everyone to stay on the ship and let me just be. I don't care if that means drowning. I don't care if that means imploding. I don't care what that means. Let me off of the ship expeditiously.
You didn't mean it, and we love you for your mistakes. It's all right. We're forgiving people. Me and me are forgiving of what you just said.
I love that. I guess it's your spaceship, or you feel in
it's
some
all
way.
Of space and time.
Right. I don't care about that.
Alonzi.
In movies.
Geronimo.
Oh, okay. Like, if in real life, I could see.
In the end. Just make it a good one, eh?
If it was a documentary of people in space.
Now I'm really mad because you know what I'm talking about.
What?
Doctor Who's sci-fi.
Oh, I'm not gonna know any of that.
Doesn't matter. But everybody looking at me when I'm over here in my Doctor Who kick. Back to normal production programming or something.
All I know is every time I see that telephone booth, I'm like, okay, that's Doctor Who. But I guess there's all these different kinds, and they wear a scarf. And there was a girl one, and there was a guy one. And I think there's
You actually know more than most.
I think there's some, red, furry, humanoid alien person that I sometimes see. But I genuinely... I could pass them on the street.
Yeah!
And I wouldn't know a thing. Sorry to this man.
Death. To all of them. Yup. I'm very, very sorry to the person who has to edit this. We love you.
Why would you be sorry to the person that has to edit this?
Because even I know that some of the words I'm saying aren't in the order they're supposed to be in.
Well, you can't edit that. You can't change.
It could be like, do. And so we were talking about global
We were not talking about
cats and dogs.
Ooh.
Damn it, Johnny. She's lift every voice. Sing. Till earth and
We didn't know any of it but that.
I wasn't allowed in the choir.
It was fine.
At least no solos. Me in the back.
We did okay. I
was like 1-4 altos.
I just would move my mouth.
Hey, if it's really
everybody
good.
was singing.
I get this from my father, but I make up my own lines to songs. Like Tyrese's "Sweet Lady, would you be my sweet love for?" What's the
love time, right?
Is it a lifetime?
I thought it was all
Okay.
love time.
Is it all of time? I don't know, but whatever I made
don't
it up with,
remember.
it fit into the song. And then when I was older, I was like, those aren't the words. Are you sure? Because when you don't know it, you just no.
Right. But I do that all the time. So I could be wrong about all of time.
What is it?
I can't see it. A lifetime.
Yeah.
Why'd you say yeah?
Because I already knew that.
Well, I didn't know that. You didn't know that.
A lifetime?
Yeah.
That's what I found out when I was doing it wrong.
Oh.
I was singing something else. I can't remember now. It's been 40 years.
Well,
And 2
I'm...
goats. But it was something else.
Wow, 40 years. That's a lot.
Would you be my sweet love for her? For the nighttime. I might have said for the nighttime.
Okay.
Then I think I just made her into a prostitute.
Well, in a similar vein, there is a Reba McEntire song called Fancy about a girl who becomes like a sugar baby, essentially.
Not Reba.
Oh, yeah. And it's, here's your one chance, fancy, don't let me down. I said, forgive you for what I do, but if you are good to him, then he'll be good to you, or something like that. Don't let me down now. Your mama's gonna move you uptown. So she's like giving her daughter away to this dude for money. And I loved it as a child and thought it was about me. What is wrong with me? Why did I think it was about me?
I don't know. But you don't really listen to the words. You just like get into the feel of it.
Oh, but I do. And the words were part of what made me feel like it was about me, because I was like, I so identified with like being in a situation that felt gross or not right or not even in a shitty way. It just like I have always felt like I am not in the right spot or place or whatever. Like I feel out of place. I have always felt out of place. And it like, oh shit, I forgot where I was going with that.
Reba McEntire.
Oh yeah. So like that's kind of the song. Like the song is essentially about this poor girl whose mom is like sick. And really I guess the mom is doing a good thing, because the mom knows she's gonna die and wants her daughter to have a better life. And I think that's what I connected with, because I always felt like my mom was like, yes, I want, like, you need to have a better life than me. So it feels like this empowering anthem of like, live your best life. But in the song, she's giving her daughter to some rich man to like, you know what I mean? But I didn't really connect that part. I was just empowered by my mom being
Yeah.
like, you go on, you have a better life.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes that's the takeaway with like media and creativity. Like we all take away what we take away from someone else's creativity, expression, whatever. Like I learn and think of things about and within myself that are different than what you probably think and learn. Not always, but we all are.
Bananas in a hammock.
Banana hammock?
Bananas in a hammock.
We really are. We are bananas in a hammock. A really tight hammock. So tight up in the collar, you can muscles bulging. Whew, what were we talking about? That's Blanche from Golden Girls.
Oh yes, that is Blanche from the hit show The Golden Gals. I don't know or remember it, but yes.
Right. But I do. I know a whole lot about it. And it also deals a lot with a lot of different vices.
True.
But really a lot of TV shows do that too. But at the same time, it's like when you have a TV show, you need to cover as many bases as you can to fill like 27 episodes.
Yeah, which I'm glad people have shortened those.
Yeah, it's like 22 now or something. Or sometimes even less. Some are like 10.
I love that about like if it's on a streaming service, it's usually like 10 to 13.
But they're also longer now than they used to be. Like they
but
used to be.
They're better. They're like there's substance, I guess. But yeah, no, they are longer. But I was over here watching Supernatural, and I love Supernatural, but I don't think I ever finished the last season and a half. And it's not because I didn't love them. It was because it was 26 episodes.
Oh. But you know what? I love
you gotta
that.
have filler episodes. And when I was young and it was every week and we didn't have DVR or streaming services, yes. Because it was like, I only got it once a week. Most people these days were binge watching something. So you're like, I'll come back to this in 6 months.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, yeah, vices.
Vices.
Oh, side note, if you hear a lot of squeaking, I'm sorry. I'm sitting in this chair. I ain't got a lot going on, and my ass is numb. So if you hear scooting, it's because I'm trying to survive. These cheeks are trying to survive.
Listen, my buttocks, gluteus maximus, because it is at its max capacity. So, no, not max capacity. It is at a bigger capacity than it has been at in quite some time. And with that comes a lot of pain still when I sit on anything.
Yeah.
It just does not matter anymore.
Yeah.
It can be a soft surface, a hard surface, a flat surface, my butt hurts. My butt just hurts. My butt hurts. And not in a way where I need to call a doctor, but also like I'm going to the doctor tomorrow. So I'm going to tell the doctor once again, Doc, my butt hurts. And last time when I told him about how much my arms hurt and the numbness that happens, he was like, well, don't lean your elbow on the chair.
He's laughing because I'm standing up, bent over, because my ass hurts and it needs a break, but I need to be close to the mic.
I love that. I love that for you.
I'm going to start bringing a pillow for just my ass.
Well, I mean...
Actually, I have one in the car.
There are pillows that you could sit on.
We're not sitting on your memorabilia.
It's not memorabilia. It is wonderful and beautiful decor. And it makes me happy. And it is also a vice because I can't stop surrounding myself with bats and jack-o'-lanterns and masks and spider webs, but not real ones because I'm dusting. If I'm going to do anything, I don't dust all the time, but I dust. I'll let to dust. Can cleaning be a vice?
It's called OCD.
Listen. I said I was going to the doctor tomorrow. Not right now. Thank you very much.
Ooh, it's called OCD.
There's that one movie. Oh, I can't think of it. It's like the name. Requiem for a Dream. Have you seen that?
I feel like I have supposed to.
I know. I feel like I don't remember. I mean, I've seen it, but it's about addiction and drugs and vices.
Not the drugs.
But I can't remember enough about it to like actively speak on it. So I guess I just brought it up to let our lovely editor figure out whatever they want to figure out about anything that we've said. But it all made a lot of sense anyway, so this is good. It doesn't even really need to be edited. It did. You know what I mean?
Genius. Pure geniuses.
It is top tier.
What? The best in the world. I'm sorry. This is my second time on the stuff that he's giving me. He makes it sound like it's crack. It's not. It's sativa. And I usually am a hybrid indica person. And I am feeling a whole different vibe than indica. I usually smoke, if I do have to smoke by myself, it's to knock myself out.
Right. I don't like to be knocked out.
Oh.
Because I've got places to go.
Oh, this is because I only smoke at night.
So do I.
I do Adderall for the day. And it's prescribed. I'm not out here just taking it from folks. It's literally, I do need it. Me and my psychiatrist. Not my regular doctor.
You better tell them all your... What's your social security number?
It is 1, 2, 3, 8.
14.
Yes.
I love that. You know, I think that the I love that dance that you're doing. I think that for me, every time I think of vices, I of course do think about addiction, which always feels like it comes back to when I think of vices and addiction, I go more inward every time, more than I think of other people. It always makes me look more at myself and be like, are all of these things that you're doing just vices, basically, you know, like coping mechanisms and whatnot? So it feels like it's just a necessary beast in a modern world. Like, to be able to cope, and maybe I'm just saying this from a uneducated place, but from the life I've lived and the situations I'm in, to cope with living in the society and the state and the place in the world that I do, to cope with this life, I have to lean into my vices sometimes to make it. Mm-hmm. And yes, sometimes I am justifying the candy bar. 80% of the time I am justifying the candy bar. But there is also a scientifically proven reason why the sugar and the things give me what you need.
When I first started going to therapy, my therapist, I was working through a whole bunch of issues that I didn't even realize I had. I had to come to terms with the fact that I grew up with abuse, and it was never abuse. That was never the label. You don't have that. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't that. It could have been worse, and that's all you think. So it took me a while to come to terms with that. And she told me when I was saying, well, I want to do this and I want to do that. She was like, okay, let's just focus on one thing at a time. So instead of trying to give up the things that you have used to be able to cope with the stuff that you have just found out about, let's focus on this first. Yeah. And I think if you do it in that way, then definitely all of your vices can turn into an asset.
Absolutely. And I think, isn't that really the point? Shouldn't we always be trying to find the best, healthiest, most efficient way for us to live our best life? Mm-hmm. Sometimes it feels like the worst thing in the world to have to look at yourself and be honest with yourself, and somehow it always goes back to the only way you're going to live a happy life is by always being honest with yourself.
Honest but not critical.
Yeah, no, not critical.
There's a difference, because that little voice may not even be your voice. It might be a voice that that was thrusted upon you. But if you are honest, truly unbiased, the grace that you give others is the grace that you should definitely be giving yourself.
And I guess by that I also meant more like looking at why.
Ah, okay.
You know what I mean? Like, look at why you feel the way you feel. Not to, like, ignore it, or... Because it could be a trauma thing.
Right.
But don't rush to anger or rush to... Let yourself be honest about why you feel the way you feel. Mm-hmm. And then maybe you won't need as many candy bars that day. Or maybe you won't need as much cocaine that day. Or heroin. Or sweet Jezebel molasses.
What about that Mary Jane?
And that Mary Jane. We didn't even really...
Just jump on that.
No.
I think, too, for us, it could be considered a vice. But also, it's not something that I need. It's something that I tried and I'm very new to, as in with the pandemic. I thought to myself, if I'm going to die from a disease, I'm going to die not doing everything my parents wanted me to do. And so it was something I tried. So for me, it's not a vice at all. It's... Well, maybe that's a lie. It does help me relax in certain situations, but overall, it's
a vice for me.
No, I wouldn't. It's to smoke with someone else is to say that I trust you in some way, because I was always very, very sure that I never was inebriated, or my thinking, like I couldn't protect myself if need be.
Right.
That makes any sense. So I wasn't fully alert, but we all have them, and that is perfectly okay. Again, once it gets to the point where it is an addiction and it's detrimental, or even some people might have a different definition. You tell me what your definition of a vice is, or what's a vice that you yourself have dealt with, and maybe how you've either gotten rid of it or you have turned that vice into an asset. We would definitely love to know, but we all have them. It's human. It's how we get through. You know, we're very complex beings, but...
We are complex beings.
Yeah.
We are.
And it's all about, honestly, most of this is self-soothing. Most of it.
Oh, isn't it? Like a weighted blanket.
Mm-hmm. Which, I have one I haven't used. Sorry, side note.
That's okay. That sounds like we both had the same revelation this week.
Yes. We did.
And now we're going to be going to the chapel and we're gonna get married. Wait, what happens there?
I don't know the song, so I'm just snapping and hoping I'm on beats.
Oh, I don't remember. It happened again where I only knew like one line of the song.
Side note, I've got my niece, addicted to Cinderella with Whitney Houston and Brandy.
Ooh.
And I also realized, and it's actually made me very upset, I can't find the soundtrack to download to my phone on iTunes. Where it at? And why?
10 minutes ago,
I'm just saying.
I saw you.
Whitney sang that. And we murmured, oh, how do you do? I wanted to ring out the bells and fling out my arms and to sing out the news. I have found her, I have found him.
With
He
the
jumps.
light of the...
We jump to the end. Why you always so right to me? Like, let me be great.
Yeah.
Sweetest sound.
We were just
y'all
singing.
ever heard are still inside
We
my
just had a little song in our heart. Sometimes singing can be a vice too.
Oh, Lord.
You know what?
Just let me be free.
We're just gonna
Breathing is a
continue
vice, too.
to have revelations. But here's one thing I'm sure of. We're gonna be back next week to have even more revelations. And even have a few more little tokes off of the green-eyed monster.
It's Sheila, and he refuses to use her name.
Her name is the green-eyed monster.
No,
She's green.
Sheila.
She's
and
got
then I'm
eyes.
over here
She's
being
got a
kind
green
and letting
eye.
him have the last name.
And
Sheila,
she looks
the
like a
green-eyed
monster.
That could be her
So
last
it's the
name.
same
but
thing.
Sheila.
That's great for that.
Sheila, what's the crap?
Absolutely. One-eyed
Sheila.
monster. So,
Sheila.
thank you
Thank you
for listening.
to us.
Please keep listening.
Please.
Like, share, subscribe, smoke a bowl,
Comment. Yes, comment.
comment,
Interact.
get that, do that, and just remember, life is a bowl of cherries.
Especially if you smoke it.
Are we supposed to sing that? End of the show.
Shake it, shake it, shake it. Shake it, shake it, shake it.